Hello, explorers, and welcome to an Explore the Force exclusive recap of Star Wars Visions Series 3. We're going to be doing every single episode in full with all the spoilers good to go. Before we do start the episode, we'd just like to thank everybody involved at Lucasfilm for giving us this massive opportunity. We appreciate it. I hope we do you justice. Again, thank you so much to everybody involved from us at Explore the Force. So, Star Wars Visions Volume 3. Here we go.
Star Wars Visions has returned to Disney Plus for a third installment. The award-winning anthology of animated short films celebrates the mythology of Star Wars through a unique cultural lens. Star Wars Visions Volume 3 features 9 shorts from 9 different animation studios. David Production, Kamikaze Douga, Anima Kinema Citrus, Polygon Pictures, Production IG, Project Studio Q, Trigger, WIT Studio, and to further demonstrate the diversity and creativity of Japanese animation. Volume 1 of Star Wars Visions, which premiered in 2021, still can't get over that, received an Emmy nomination for the short The Jewel. The Emmy Lumiere and the Annie Award-winning second volume was released in 2023 and featured shorts by global animation studios, including Aardman, Cartoon Salon, Triggerfish, and Punk Robot. With Volume 3, the animated anthology returns to where it all began, with 9 shorts from 9 different anime studios to further demonstrate the diversity and creativity of Japanese animation. We are just going to have a little chat about the season as a whole before we dig into each individual episode, because I feel like we've got some things to say. Guys, how do we rank it compared to Volumes 1 and 2? How are we feeling? What are we thinking?
Go on, Jimmy.
It's third for me.
Ooh.
Volume 2, Volume 1, Volume 3, and we'll get into it. I mean, beautiful, stunning, just did not grab me like the first 2 seasons, I guess. So, Jack, what about you, bud?
Yeah, I'm quite similar rankings, but I'd go 1, 2, 3 in order of my favourite seasons. Pretty similar as well. Some of the stories I felt were okay, didn't quite, again, jump to me. But there are certain episodes that I thought were really, really good. Honestly, we'll go through those.
I feel like overall this was a pretty unique experience. There were some highs, there were some lows, there were some things, especially towards the end of the volume, that I really genuinely wasn't expecting. For me, I think my ranking would go Volume 2, Volume 3, and then Volume 1. Controversially, I know. Shock.
Nice.
Do you guys think you'll be watching it again?
Yes. Well, I've watched it like 3 or 4 times already as well. Some episodes I've watched like maxed out. I've literally maxed out on them.
Yeah. I've watched my top 3 at least twice. Didn't have a ton of time. I will watch the ones that I really, really enjoyed. And as much as I like season 2 and season 1, I mean, I don't find myself going back to my tongue, because like if you listen to our recap from seasons 1 and 2 that came out yesterday, like I'm not a huge anime person. I love Star Wars and I love this visuals, but yeah, I'll go back and I'll watch, the Dual Payback and some of the other ones. But I rewatched the ones that I really liked, and then I had to rewatch parts to make sure I understood some of them, and then the one in the very end, I don't think I could rewatch it 49 million times and I would still have no clue as to what is happening. And I thought to myself, I need Charlie, because I am not smart enough to understand what is happening in this episode.
Did you message Charlie saying what is going on?
I was going to, but I
did.
Oh my gosh. So
Charlie's like on go-to.
Yeah, so just crazy.
I'm sorry for these other 2 that just lack any culture whatsoever. Clearly. Okay. Well, I'm going to kick us off with the first episode in the season, which this is the one I have been most excited for. This is a sequel to the first episode from Volume 1, The Jewel, and this is titled The Jewel Payback. This is directed by Takanobu Mizuno. The animation studio is Kamikaze Douga with Anima, and I watched this in Japanese with the English subtitles.
Yeah.
which is what I did for the one in volume 1. We had a nice little runtime of 23 minutes, so something to really kind of sink your teeth into. With the help of some unexpected allies, the Ronin faces off against his greatest foe, a twisted Jedi known as the Grand Master, who is bent on revenge. Who wants to kick us off on this one?
I will go. This, for me, was my favourite episode by an absolute country mile. Like, this was a banger. I did exactly the same as you. I watched them all in Japanese with subs as well. And to me, it does make a little bit of a difference. But this one was unreal. I need a film of this. Honestly, I've seen all the comics and that. I managed to pick up the Ronin Black series. So going into this, hype levels were high, especially episode 1, new season. And yeah, what an episode! Visually stunning, the fight scenes stunning. I absolutely love this. I can't find anything really that I didn't like, apart from it was only 23 minutes long. Apart from that, I absolutely loved it.
Jimmy, how did you feel about this one? How did you feel about the visuals?
Oh man, I love this, and I'm just kind of like Jack on the fact that if I'm excited for the Ninth Jedi movie. I don't know exactly what they're calling it, Visions Extra or something like that. I can't remember. I'm excited for the Ninth Jedi, but I will not lie and say I wasn't disappointed when it wasn't the duel. Like, I was like, come on, like, you can easily give us 45 minutes of this. Visually just outstanding. Again, like I said in the recap, I think these ones are like the most Star Wars. It's like if Kurosawa and Lucas could get together and make Star Wars now, this is like what it would look like, I think. So yeah, I love this one. I don't think it was as strong as the first one, the first duel, personally. But also some of that's like, he pulls out the saber, it's red, blah blah blah, and but there were a lot of really fun things in this one. I really enjoyed it. Visually blew me away. You get emotional with the droid when things happen with the droid. And just the use of the Ewoks is pretty awesome too. So yeah, this was a really fun. This was a great way again to start off, and they seem to always do this. They nail the first episode to really kind of pull you in. So
yeah,
big kickoff. I thought. Go on, Charlie.
I absolutely loved the visuals in this, like identical to the episode in volume 1. Huge nods to Kurosawa's aesthetic and styles. There were more kind of pops of color in this episode, a more kind of varied palette than just the red and green that we saw in the Duel. I also love the film scratch effect. I feel like they've increased that in this one. That was so interesting to see. You had all of that. You had the grain. You had the kind of hand drawn animation aspects, and the glows of orange and blue were really interesting as well. Sometimes it felt like a few of the shots were a little bit too fast for me. I was losing some of the detail. But I do recognize that is more of like a deliberate stylistic choice within anime. That's something you see quite a lot. How did we feel about the storyline? Because Annie Sand might be my new Star Wars crush, guys. I'm just going to say that loudly and proudly on the podcast. She's so bad and cool.
Yeah, no, I thought it was strong. Go on, Jimmy.
Yeah, the Twi'lek Sith. I do think you guys watch it on your laptops, correct? Like I had to. So I am looking forward to watching this one specifically on my television. I want that bigger screen. I want to be able to take it all in a little bit more. I wasn't smart enough to figure out how to cast it to my television. We were barely smart enough to figure out, get it on my computer. I'm 50, people leave me alone when it comes to technology. But yeah, I thought the story was pretty good. It wasn't as dark as the first one for me. Like, it wasn't as like, and then the Grandmaster was cool. And I think it had some cool things to say about, we talk a lot about Jedi being their own worst enemy. And I think this one kind of summed that up for me, where that Grandmaster who thought he was all this and that on the light side, he was an absolute monster.
Yeah.
Absolute monster.
Interesting to see that perspective flipped that we're so used to.
Yeah. I thought that, I can see people my age maybe pushing back a little bit on the fact that, like, well, the guys with the red sabers are supposed to be bad and the guys with the green sabers are good. But I thought this was a really interesting twist. And, Lucasfilm and these studios, they challenge us a little bit on these. So I liked it. I like being challenged a little bit, but it also was so nostalgic with all the scenery that I felt it. I felt at home watching this episode, even though I'm not a huge
absolutely.
So
I really enjoyed those wider references to like the Star Wars universe. There were references to Rise of Skywalker in there when they were on like the
Yes.
platforms of the AT-AT feet. There was so much Return of the Jedi. All of the sounds were the same. The Ewok horns were the same. The comedy in it felt very Return of the Jedi as well. There was something about that had that kind of George Lucas kind of kookiness to it that I think we all really love. Did you guys have a favorite shot by any chance in that episode? Because mine, I think it had to be when the Ronan and Annie were standing in front of the shield generator and the ships are just firing on it. And it's like the biggest shot of color in this kind of sea of black and white. And it's just perfection, absolute perfection.
I think it was when Annie San showed that lightsaber with multiple like mini sabers for me, and I was like, "Wow, what is this?"
Yeah, which was like a prosthetic attachment to her missing arm. I love Star Wars are so cool for that.
It was an awesome shot, and I agree with Jimmy with like challenging the audience, because did you not find yourself rooting for the bad guy?
Yeah.
Is he the bad guy though? That's what I don't know. Like, I have not read them. Is it manga? They have a manga out, or I think there's a book or something with him, and this makes me want to hopefully over Thanksgiving dive into that and read it to see what's going on. But I don't know if he's the bad guy.
So there's loads of mystery behind it. There's no name, nothing. Like nothing's been revealed whatsoever.
Kind of like an old Western Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Riding into town. I mean, I'm telling you, this is Kurosawa and George Lucas had a baby, and this is what came out.
Yeah, exactly. And the beautiful thing is with this, because it's such a canvas to go on, like the possibilities are literally. All we know of this guy, this Ronin, he was hunting Siths. Why? We're not 100% sure yet, and he's now hunting crystals. Oh man, I absolutely loved it, honestly.
The idea of Twi'lek putting her Leku up in a bun is brilliant to me.
I was
10 out of 10.
That's a good shot.
Wait, is that the same alien? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, whoa. And then I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I've never, ever seen that with a Twi'lek. So that was pretty cool.
Also, I really enjoyed the kind of the flirty sort of energy between them, especially the scene in like the Back to Spring. That felt quite.
There's gonna be a third, maybe a little baby Ronin, a little baby Ronin,
a little Ronin. Talk to me about canon adherence. How likely do we think this episode would be to happen in actual Star Wars? Because I would 100% watch this if this was like a live action set before the originals, way back in the past of Star Wars. Like this feels really kind of rooted, like and true to Star Wars. What do you guys think?
I think it's possible. I think it's one of the easiest ones in the season to fit into canon.
Yeah,
the most Star Wars looking, like they really go out of their way to use Star Wars. You know, a lot of these, like they add some fluff and things like that, which is great. But this one feels like the Star Wars universe to me. So I could easily see that happening. And like, Jack, do you remember the cosplayers, all the Japanese guys that dressed up like these dudes? Oh, that was nuts. So
yeah, we got you a photo with the Ronin as well, didn't we? Actually, and all the Stormtrooper ones. Yeah.
So
amazing. 10 out of 10 for me. This one, loved it.
10 out of 10. Would you guys watch this as a full movie? Because I would love to see somebody edit Jewel and Pape like together into one episode, and I'm sure the fans will be doing that as we speak. But yeah, I'd 100% watch this as a whole film, animated or live action. Like this is a brilliant story, and I sincerely hope if they do another volume of Visions, we'll get another part to the story.
It seemed like they were kind of. That's what they wanted. That little smirk he has at the end when he's, I mean, play fighting with her. It seemed like they weren't even really challenging each other. Just kind of
fantastic. Shall we shuffle on towards episode 2?
Do it.
This episode is titled The Song of Four Wings. Oh, there she is. The animation studio is Project Studio Q. I watched this one in English, and this episode clocks in at about 15 minutes long. A princess turned rebel protects a child from the might of the Empire on a snowbound planet. I have to be honest, this visually and in terms of the storyline, I had the biggest grin on my face from start to finish on this episode. I absolutely loved it. The Crane, that's the princess's name, let me get that right, is absolutely adorable. Whoopass give me 10 of them. He's such a little cutie pie. Oh my gosh.
Mm.
There's so much I want to dig into for this. I loved the visual style of this one. It was really fun. I really liked the way the eyes were drawn. Something about that I found kind of super captivating. Absolutely beautiful. How did you guys find this one visually?
Visually stunning, very much like a comic book,
Mm,
completely different
yeah,
to episode one, obviously, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, visually, yeah, stunning again.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty good. I mean, a strong start, back-to-back episodes. It was different. It took me a little bit to get used to the eyes, but I just kind of thought that's anime.
Yeah,
Like that's so. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
there were so many details in this that made me think about Princess Leia. I'm going to be honest. Everything from being called Princess and her saying that she doesn't want to be called Princess. The
yeah.
flaps on her helmet reminded me of Leia's buns. Like there were so many little nods and precious little things that I just, oh my goodness.
I mean, I have in my notes episode 2, Princess Leia doppelganger. Like this is her
Yeah.
Yes,
story in a different world. Got ESB vibes, so Empire Strikes Back vibes. Got because her outfit kind
massively
of
so.
like her hair was like Leia in Cloud
Hmm.
City, and then of course like the buns, kind of a little bit Padme-esque with the things on the side. Her hat was it the hat or the helmet? But yeah, this is pretty sweet. There's a lot. This is real Star Wars driven. You know what I mean? Like they took the
Yeah.
Yeah.
story and they just kind of put their own spin on it. So I loved it.
This one felt hugely connected to Star Wars for me. This felt like Rebels. This felt like Star Wars Resistance, which I will get to a couple of episodes further down the line. Um, even down to the things like the R2D2 scream. I'm sure you guys know this. There is
Mm,
an entire archive of Star Wars sounds that exists. Everything that Ben Burtt ever put together and created, the editors and creators can access when they work for Lucasfilm. So that is more than likely the R2D2 scream from the prequels. Amazing. Really enjoyed that we got to see some like mech action. That's a big thing. Like obviously Jack and I will
Huge.
if you've watched the episode of season 1 and 2, we talk quite a lot about anime we've watched, and both of us are Gundam fans. So any kind of mech insanity going on, I'm absolutely here for. Also, you said Empire Strikes Back. I thought there was a lot of New Hope in this. Trench runs, exhaust ports,
yeah,
firing things into exhaust ports, Luke
yeah,
Skywalker.
yeah. I had it all
Amazing.
in here. Trench. I put trench run, seismic charges. Like they did they
Yeah.
brought a lot of little pieces from all the movies and slammed it into that short amount of time, which was pretty
Yeah.
impressive. This one was one of the ones that just kept going. It never really slowed down. It was action.
No.
Like once she finds the little guy, um, it was on. Like there was
Yeah, it
no,
kicks off.
Whoop ass.
yeah,
I think it was a good episode to follow the Ronin because the Ronin one obviously fast, like the
Yeah.
pace was unreal. This one, it was a sudden stop, and I found myself like sort of gasping for air, sort of thing, to get ready for more action. Like you said, then Jimmy, then the music kicks in. I'm like, this is a pretty good tune. I sort of feel it
Yeah.
gearing up, and obviously the fine Woo pass, and like you said, it just goes again. Buff, you're away. Yeah, big fan of the mech stuff as well. That's the only bit I thought took it away from Star Wars to a
Yeah.
degree. Still here for its anime at the end of the day. Would it work in Star Wars for real? Probably not. It's a universe. Who knows? But yeah, and I love the fact that the Woo press at the end as well. Force sensitive. Thought was absolutely like nice
Yeah.
yeah,
little touch.
it was pretty cool. I like
Um,
that.
the touch of the paper cranes was really sweet as well. Japanese legend goes that if you make 1,000 paper cranes and give them to somebody, their wish will come true. And it makes me think that Whoopers was on his like last paper crane, and that's when Crane appeared. But yeah, canon adherence wise, I don't know.
No.
This is the thing though. If Grogu can get in a droid and walk it around like a mech, I don't see why we can't have an X-wing turn into a mech suit, turn into
Yeah,
you name it.
I agree, but I don't think we can have AT-ATs bursting through the ice like they did.
Why?
Yeah,
Ow.
that part was the only part I was like, I understand like in the Rise of Skywalker, the ships come up, because that's what made me
Yeah.
think of was like the ships breaking out of the ice on Exegol.
Mm,
But it didn't work. Like, it did not work for me. It just didn't like I was like, oh, well, that's never going to happen in a movie. You know what I mean? Those things can't move like that.
Yeah.
But they
And
jumped.
the jump thing was weird to me because I mean that's like the complete opposite of what those things do. I mean,
Yeah.
just recently in the Mando and Grogu, we see them barely climbing up the
Could
snow
you imagine
trail.
him jumping over the tow
But-
lines as though in Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, and then I don't know that transfer. I put down awesome transformer moment. It kind of reminded me like back in the day when you watch Transformers, the humans that were with them had these kits that could change, and they kind of it kind of took me back to that a little bit. But I don't know. I think in the right way that could work, like that Transformer moment. I think that'd be kind of cool, and I think like maybe that's what as long as they move faster than the Vespas on Tatooine, will be all right. So, but yeah, I thought other than those things jumping up out of the AT-ATs or the AT-ATs jumping up out of there, I thought it was pretty cool and would work.
Nice. Would you guys watch a full feature of this one? Would you watch this if it was like a whole movie or like a half an hour kind of
half an hour or
expand the
so,
story?
Yeah, you give me 40 to. I mean, yeah, if they're gonna make like an extra like they're doing with the Ninth Jedi, I would do 45 minutes of this. I think,
Yeah.
because you have a little bit of time to slow down, see what's happening. I think it'd be pretty good. And the animation's so clean and sharp. I mean, just that in itself was, you got the trench run right there. I mean, I thought it was real crisp and I liked it. It was kind of visually pleasing. So yeah, I could see myself watching that.
The music was a big selling point for this episode for me. Really, really interesting, really, really different. I like when Star Wars strays into that kind of dance music, party music, even down to kind of like the piece of music that we got at the end of that episode of The Acolyte that I think I had on my Spotify repeat for like a year and a half. I love when Star Wars gets kind of interesting with its musical influences, and I loved the touch of her astromech being like one of the only droids that can play music.
He's like trying to find a boombox from the 80s.
Yeah, I
thing.
always thought
Apex.
that astromechs looked like jukeboxes, so that made me very, very happy.
Fun. Yeah, that
I'm
was a fun.
sure-
I like that twist.
I'm sure we had a droid as a boombox. I think Visions 1 or 2. I'm positive.
Maybe in that
Maybe.
that band one, the Tatooine Rhapsody or whatever it was called.
I think it was.
Definitely. If it was, it had to have been in that one, right? I mean,
But yeah, super warm, super heartfelt. Really, really, really super enjoyed this episode. The next one on our list is episode 3, which is The Ninth Jedi, Child of Hope. The animation studio is Production IG. It was directed and written by Naoyoshi Shiotani. I watched this one in English. I know, Jack, you said you watched all of these in Japanese with subtitles. Jimmy, did you watch this one in English as well?
yeah, I watched them all in English, to be honest, because I wasn't sure how much time I was
Fair.
going to have, because behind the scenes for us was the way we wanted to do it. I was like, man, I'm not gonna have enough time to do it. And then once we got this all sorted, I just kind of ran out of time. I will watch the ones that are like my top 4 or 5. I'll definitely go back and watch them in Japanese.
Oh, mate,
Yeah.
you got to.
So I mean, I did it the first time, like with Vision season 1 and 2. I've done it, and I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, so. But yeah, and just to be honest with everybody, I didn't have time to watch them all, and I just threw them in English, so I didn't have to like pay attention to the
Yeah,
to
I know
the
what you mean.
subtitles while I was taking notes.
This is for people who watch it in English. This is the first episode where we've got some pretty hard hitters in the cast list. I was really, really surprised. So the episode is about Kara, who's pursued by Jedi hunters and blasted adrift into space. She encounters a seemingly abandoned ship tended to by a very mysterious droid. And immediately I recognized the voice of this very mysterious droid. And when I looked at the credits, he's voiced by Freddie Highmore. And if any of you like your Tim Burton films, you may recognize him as the gentleman who plays Charlie Bucket in the Tim Burton Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which was a really, really, really pleasant surprise. Visually, this episode was absolutely delicious. Maybe wasn't the biggest fan of the story, and that's fine. But specifically, right, I need to talk about this. So she's blasted into space, which is ultimately one of the biggest fears of mine. The idea of being floating, like I watched Interstellar, that was too much. The idea of being left to be floating around in space with no hope. So I'm so glad she was found. And this bizarre ship that she's like is like a cathedral constructed by Geiger and Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Really strange angles, really bizarre configurations of shapes and styles that I think are familiar. The room of stained glass windows that she first walks in reminds me of the windows in Notre Dame. I don't know if either of you have had the pleasure of going. Absolutely just breathtaking, kind of these huge reams of color and metal. And the outside of the ship is like Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, the massive cathedral. I absolutely fascinated by the blend of these aesthetics. Like that's what captured my interest for most of the episode. I think I sort of lost track of what was happening in the story because I was just so fixated on the visual details. It's this super, super beautiful 3D animation that's like real life CG, flat color, so, so beautiful. And then sort of splitting the story between Kara and Tito and then her friends. What is it with Star Wars and abandoning people? Just can we stop, please?
Orphans everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good. They need some
But no,
child protective services up in the Star Wars universe.
we do. Jack, how did you find this episode visually?
Yeah, visually stunning again, very crisp, lots of colours jumping out. A bit slower frame rate wise, so you could keep up with what was going on, like you mentioned with the Ronin stuff. Yeah, but visually again, flawless, absolutely flawless. Loved it.
Yeah, I watched these in chunks, so I watched 3 at a time, and then I was able to go back and watch because at first I was like, But then I went back and I watched the first one, The Ninth Jedi, and I was like, whoa, like it definitely enhanced my my enjoyment, and I'm excited because I was thinking about it, like you're gonna have like an hour and 15 of this by the time we're done, like in January, February. But yeah, visually, I thought this was really great. There were some things that kind of took me out of it, which I'm sure we'll talk about here in a minute. But and again, not being an anime person, maybe that's just some kind of bias that I have. I don't know.
I think the biggest thing for this, right, and this is like a cheeky plug. Before you watch season 3, go back, watch Vision season 1 because it will change your outlook. It's like what Rogue One did to Andor.
I wish I'd have had a chance to rewatch all of the like concurrent season 1 episodes to go into this. I do feel like I'm missing something from this episode specifically. Like I haven't ranked it terribly high on my list, and I'm almost frustrated because I feel like if I'd have gone back, watched.
I would, for me, it made the whole because like there's these characters that you're supposed to know, and it's 2021. So if you haven't rewatched them, it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
When I went back and rewatched that first one, this made way more sense. It was like it felt super. It continued. It's almost like a immediate like aftermath of the first one from season 1, and it made it make sense because it went from kind of low on my list to like it jumped way up. Just for the fact that like all these characters, like, okay, that was this person, this was this person. This all makes sense now. And now I know what's going because they just leave her and you're like, what's happening? Like it's kind of disorienting, I think, if you don't remember, what happened in the first one. So I would strongly suggest
Massively.
watch Ninth Jedi, come back, watch Ninth Jedi, Child of Hope.
This was second for me.
Wow.
And I think this is why it's going to be a movie as well, because again, like Jimmy was saying, there's so many likable characters. So again, it's similar to like your Rebels. You've got a crew. Your prequels. There's a crew there for people to relate to. And that's the only reason probably Ronin hasn't got a film, because it's just one person. This really sort of no left and right of field to go with. But with this, there's so many different avenues for people to like and love. And I absolutely love this. I thought it was absolutely awesome.
I really, really like this episode, but I have a couple questions for you guys. The stark contrast between the animation and then the ships. Is this the one that I wrote that down for? Maybe this isn't that one.
This is the one that's got like the hyper, like almost like
it's like CGI. They use CGI for the ships, and then they use animation for the. And I did not. It happens a couple times in some of these episodes, like later on when we talk about some other ones, like they had this really, like 2D animation, and all of a sudden you have
Yeah.
these 3D and it looks like it's something out of like the 80s almost for me. And it didn't really work. I mean, you have this beautiful animation.
Yeah.
Why not just stick with it? I get it. They're probably trying to make those ships look more like Naboo starfighters and things like that. But that little bit took me out of it again. But then when I went back and rewatched it, it kind of lifted it back up for me.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of all over the map with this one. But I thought the story was strong enough.
Yeah.
The animation strong enough, and so I am more looking forward now to. I think it was January, February. We're getting that. I'm not sure exactly when that's coming out, but yeah, definitely looking forward to it, and definitely enjoyed this one. I think it's like 3 for me or something.
I think the ships as well, like the pirate ships, that from pretty much the Mandalorian pirate ship. Like you were saying, Charlie, with the cathedrals and that. For those that have never been to Espanol, Spain, it reminds me of the Dark Imperium from Warhammer.
Interesting. Nice. There's a couple of other episodes. There's a lot of like high art and like architectural concepts in some of these episodes that I really wasn't expecting to see. But I'm absolutely delighted by. I think, yeah, Kara was maybe a little bit whingy in this one, but again, that's a trope of Japanese anime. That's part of it.
I'm going to send you something after this, Jimmy, to watch, and you'll see.
I loved Tito, and I also really enjoyed. There are some quotes in this episode that really got to me and felt kind of incredibly relevant. My favorite one was, "The galaxy is engulfed in fear and anger now. That's why no matter what happens, we must lend a helping hand to anyone in need. As long as we do that, we'll be taking the first steps to guiding the galaxy towards good." Absolutely beautiful, packed full of that classics hero journey, which is always so timeless and like beautiful in Star Wars. The only reason this is lower down on my list when I ranked these episodes is because there are a few episodes down the bottom that I definitely rank higher.
Not because the ending for Tito.
Don't. Star Wars need to stop attaching me to droids that I love and I find adorable and then ripping them away from me. This isn't okay. Like, emotionally, I can't handle it. That isn't fair.
There were a lot of droids getting taken out, and it was kind of disturbing. It really bothered me in the Payback. I was like, what? Like, it made me really not like the Grandmaster.
What I did find funny about this as well is when they, again, massive spoiler, but you've had spoiler one by now, when they get to the master in the ship and he's been in the back to tank for a few years, he looked all right. Like, you'd think if you know, when you have a bath, me personally, I can't stay any longer than an hour because I go all wrinkly. That guy's been in there for years.
He looked wasted and decaying. Do we not have the same set of eyes?
I didn't think he looked that bad. I was expecting
I do think seeing these on television will change a little bit. I think it'll change how we see some of these things like that. But yeah, because at first I was like, oh, he's alive, and then they're like, oh, he's been here for like 100 some years. I'm like, okay, maybe not.
Thank you. It's exactly the same as me.
There's no like nutrients in back there, from my understanding. So
it's the fact that Kara had to turn to him and be like, Tito, I'm so sorry.
Do you go to the toilet in a back to tank?
Yes.
Anyway, great episode.
Yeah, good episode. Now I've heard you guys talk, I would be inclined to move it back up my list, but you'll see when we get there. Our next episode on the list was number 4. This is The Bounty Hunters. This is by the animation studio WIT Studio, and this was directed by Junichi Yamamoto. I also watched this episode in English, and the duration runs about 18 minutes for this. A rogue bounty hunter takes on a job for a shady industrialist that has unexpected consequences for her and her droid. I really loved this episode. Visually, this was really punchy and really impactful. Really enjoyed the animation style. I love that the episode starts with a scene of just utter horror and decimation. It's something I really love about anime, and one of the tropes that I'm super fond of is there's a lot of horror and there's a lot of gore. And because it's not happening in real life, it sort of gets past kind of censorship a bit easier. And I think that's a nice space for Disney to push those things in Star Wars. Like, I don't think the closest we've come to seeing that kind of devastation and death is in like Andor, and to see it here. Again, another episode that kind of tried to skew your perspective of the Jedi. Are they good? Are they bad? And yeah, we've also, this is like the first swearing we've had in a Visions episode as well. We had a nice good dank ferret right in the middle, which I
like twice,
thoroughly
I think she
enjoyed.
said it,
I
yeah.
think they said it in episode 2 as well. I'm sure she said it in episode 2, you know. 'Cause
Possibly.
I was the same. I thought, oh, there's a dank ferret. Then there's another one. I was like, oh, God, they're going a bit top heavy with the dank ferrets here. But yeah.
And that's 2 episodes now that have had seismic charges in them. Never going to get tired of that. Never going to get tired of the noise.
Yeah.
Maybe the best sound effect in Star Wars. Like, I mean, not as
Strong
nostalgic as like a lightsaber coming on or a TIE fighter flying overhead, but you hear that seismic charge with good set of speakers. It's like you can feel it rattling your bones. So yeah, this one was fine. This started my trend of it's fine kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't fooled by the story. I wasn't, I was like, okay, this guy's the bad guy. Like it wasn't, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I like the droid though. I like this bipolar, multiple personality having droid.
I love that.
And so I thought that was remind me of Mr. Bones, and we've seen some other characters in Star Wars where the droids get kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So I enjoyed this one. And it's always, the way it ends is positive, so I liked it. But it just kind of started the run for me of like, it's fine. I don't know if I really enjoyed the animation on this one though. Like I don't know what it was about. It just seemed like it was a step down from the Ninth Sister for me. So, but and again, not they don't all work for me, but I appreciate what these people do. Like it's amazing. So like I don't want people to think, oh, I hate this stuff. It doesn't work for me, but I 100% appreciate the artistic ability that these people have. It is phenomenal.
This is the 3rd episode now that's had what I would consider a relatively similar animation style. I was maybe expecting a little more variation in the episodes in terms of kind of stylistic choices. But ultimately, there were aspects of this episode that really kind of pushed it up the ranking for me. I really, really liked the main character. I thought she was really cool. The black and red hair is 100% something I would have begged my mum to have as a teenager. Very moody, very dramatic. I really liked Jinsin. Yes, he's a terrible person, but he was handsome. He was a handsome rascal. She wasn't wrong for that, I'll be honest. And also, really interestingly, this is the fine art in me coming out again. The back wall of his office, there was like a Monet, there was a Pollock, like a Jackson Pollock painting, and there was also a Kandinsky painting as well. Like I wasn't expecting to see like cubism and minimalism in Star Wars, but here we are. There was like a Greek vase, a bronze plate. Interesting, like a gatherer of fine items, but also a gatherer of child slaves. Like a nice little, that's Star Wars for you, isn't it?
I felt this was taking a shot at certain things in the real world. I think personally, people like, what was his name again? How do you say it? I don't want to mess it up.
Jinsen.
He was like the poster boy for the billionaires and millionaires out there that are, that's how I took it. I'm not sure, I'm not trying to get political, but that's what it felt like to me. This was just like a PSA for that. Like, don't be fooled by their looks and their money kind of thing.
Yeah. There was a storyline wise, there was a really nice kind of cyclical narrative in this, which I always love in storytelling. She ended up doing what was done for her, and it was that a redemption arc, if you want to call it that. And I love the note of like, so this painting sold at auction for like 2.1 million credits. Amazing. Go sell that painting. Get that bag.
Yeah, I like that. That was pretty clever.
We also had the first Wilhelm scream of the season, guys. One of my favorite like film details. It makes me so unbelievably happy. I am the person that will like scream in the cinema if one of those happens. Another episode that I loved the music in as well. I think I'm going to have to make like a Visions playlist because there were so many just little songs and things that I was absolutely obsessed with. Did you guys enjoy the story in this one, or was it more of a backseat for you?
I think, like Jimmy said, it's a bog standard story. No great surprises. But I think what helped this was the surprises of the droid. The droid is like one of my favorite droid ideas
Yeah.
ever. I think that's an absolutely fantastic idea. The the super mecha destroyer droid, brilliant as well. So I think, like Jimmy said, the story dead simple, dead straight down the middle, but the things left and right of it, I think that's what boosted this episode up slightly.
Gave me like a Wolverine type movie, like the big giant samurai monster. Like it kind of was feeling that, and then the defeat. But yeah, I love the droid. I like the whole thing. I liked how she was, the tough guy. She was, she was doing what he needed, and she didn't realize it. And just communicate a little bit better with your droid, and maybe he won't leave you on a planet abandoned.
Canon compliance, I felt like this is absolutely reasonably something that could happen within Star Wars. In fact, I feel like this has happened in Star Wars in some way, shape, or form. So that it feels like quite a lot of the episodes have been much more closely linked to kind of the true Star Wars canon. And that isn't something that I thought I wanted, but I actually really enjoyed it in the season. I feel like there's a place for it.
It makes it feel safe and almost like home, right? I mean, it makes you feel comfortable because it's not subverting everything you know about Star Wars, I guess. And yeah, this trope happens in the books, I mean, constantly. So
this to me was like an animated Solo. So take out the going to get Caraxium, they're going out to get someone else, and like you mentioned with the Vars and all that stuff at the back, that's like Dryden Voss. If Dryden Voss was on that, that'd be him.
For sure.
There were some stars in the voice cast as well. If people listen to the English version, IVA4, our favorite double personality droid, was voiced by Ronnie Cheng, star of The Daily Show, and also the voice of Khan Supernousophone. If you guys are King of the Hill fans, we also had Jodie Turner-Smith, who's Mother Anasea. Forgive me, I can't quite remember which character she voices, but she is in there. And I think I remember when it broke that she was one of the cast members for one of the Visions episodes for season 3. I remember there was a lot of speculation about whether we were going to get like a Mother Anasea episode or not. And whilst I don't think she's reprising her role, she is in this episode, which is super cool. Our next episode on the list, guys, we're getting through it. We're getting there. Episode 5 is Yuko's Treasure. This animation studio is Kinema Citrus. They've done 2 episodes for this volume. This was directed by Maskai Tachibana. I watched this one in English, and the duration sits at about 20 minutes. A sheltered orphan teams with a street rat kid to rescue his droid caregiver and find a long-lost treasure. Whilst I didn't rank this episode terribly highly, I'm never a fan when a Star Wars story starts with a baby in peril. Too much peril. Too much peril for me. I'm feeling emotional at the moment, and it was a lot for me to deal with. I feel I need to read you my notes. My notes say, I think I might cry. What a precious baby and bear combo. Wait, the bear is a microwave.
Wasn't that keen on
10
this
out of 10 journalism. What do you mean? How can you not love Billy the Bear?
They should have just got rid of the bear and made it a Wookiee, and I think it'd have been more okay, right? I can get on with that, but yeah. Having a giant, it was just like a giant teddy bear with a microwave, then obviously a droid, and I was like, all right, okay.
I think I built this one up in my head from Celebration. When we saw the animation, I thought I was blown away by Billy. I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And then for me, it wasn't. And I was like, I thought, I don't know what and this is 100% my fault. We've talked about this all the time. We get our expectations up, and that's not Lucasfilm or any of these studios. Like, that's on me personally. Animation I thought was cool. There is one voice in this one though. As soon as I heard it, I was like, what the heck is happening in Star Wars right now? It reminded me of Jack Black and what's her name showing up in Mando season 3. It took me out of it completely. I love the actor. This took me out of it completely. I was disappointed in this one. Animation's great. Story is pretty basic. I think some of it, I will say 50% of it's my fault, because I just had these crazy expectations for Billy, and they didn't happen, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm similar to you, Jimmy. The thing that carried it for me was the visuals of Tatooine in an animation. I thought that was superb. They were awesome. But yeah, storyline, okay. The bear thing just killed me off.
I was more interested in the visuals than I was in the storyline particularly. Please stop hurting the bear. Stop hurting the cute things. I don't like it. It makes me sad. It makes me want to cry. Billy, if people wanted to know, stands for Baby I Love You. That's what the droid's title is. So cute. I spotted that in the credits and I thought that was absolutely precious. All of my notes are just, what are you doing to Billy? Stop doing that to Billy. Where is Billy? What have you done with Billy? Just chronologically as I was watching the episode. Really high peril, especially if you guys like cute bears. But it did end up being like a really, really sweet ending.
Yeah.
Was I tired of a little kid crying? A little bit. Shush.
Yeah, this one was pretty. I like to be like tricked. I like to be not able to like, it's not very
Yeah.
often that they can kind of fool me. Like I usually like, oh, this is this or that's going to be this. And wrong, once you get the tropes, it's not that hard to really kind of. This one was just, point one, point two. I just kind of followed a schematic.
Yeah.
I knew that boy was going to end up as a family, and I don't know. It was a little bit wonky. And then can we talk about the voice? Can we talk about the
Yeah. So who was it?
Steve Buscemi, right? Or Buscemi, however you want to say it. And I was like, is that? And I was like, wait, what?
It is.
And that's when I went to our media kit and I was like flipping through trying to find it. And I was like, what? And the character feels like him because he's like
Yeah.
just kind of a knucklehead, like, the characters he always plays. I'm sure he's a great guy. It did not work for me in Star Wars. It did not work for
Fair.
me. And that bums me out a little bit because I was excited for pirates and stuff. I was thinking, like Skeleton Crew and whatever. But yeah, it just,
Yeah.
Maybe this one's better in Japanese. I don't know.
It didn't make a massive difference to me in Japanese.
So not necessarily everybody's favorite. I'm guessing the answer to would you want this as a full feature would be
Nope.
no.
No.
How canon compliant do we feel that it is?
No. You got a bear with a microwave in its belly.
That
Listen,
was a
if
bit of a stretch.
Teletubbies could have it with a telly, then why can't a bear have a microwave?
Yeah, I'm with Jack on this one. It doesn't work for me in the Star Wars universe, I guess.
Yeah.
Fair. Completely fair. Steve Buscemi in Star Wars, guys.
That threw me
Is this
for
real
a
life?
loop, man. You have to remember, I was up at like 5 a.m. Saturday morning before cross country to watch these three because I knew I was jammed up for time. And I was like, I might have been like dozing off, and then I heard his voice and I was like, whoa, like what's going on? So yeah, it didn't. I like him as an actor. He's usually funny and everything. It just did not work for me.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird get, I think.
Fair enough. Our next episode on the list, episode 6, is The Lost Ones. This is by animation studio Kinema Citrus again. This was directed by Hitoshi Haga. I watched this one in English, and this episode's set at about 20 minutes or so. After assisting refugees escape a natural disaster, an incognito F is forced to confront the ghosts of her past when their refugee ship is intercepted by the Empire. This episode is a sequel to The Village Bride from Volume 1. So I would highly recommend, just so you've got your ducks in a row, go back and watch that one first and then watch this one, and it will make a lot more sense.
See, yes, I need to do that. I knew there were other ones in there. I don't think there's 3, right? There was, and I could not remember which the third one was. And I apparently don't remember The Village Bride at all because this didn't register one bit that this was from season 1. Incognito F, I wasn't sure what that meant either. So I was like, what is happening? Yeah. So definitely what Charlie said, make sure you watch season 1, The Village Bride, because I will do that sometime this week.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Maybe it moves it up for me, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think the only reason this episode is relatively low down on my list is due to the fact that I was just a bit confused. Like, it really took me a while to kind of dig through the memory banks of the volumes of like volume 1 of Visions and going, oh, it's that episode and that's right. Because The Village Bride is actually quite a complicated episode.
Yeah, that episode
There's
is
a
really
lot
cool.
that happens.
I remember being kind of like, whoa, because we talked about that in our recap. I just remember it being like so different. And I think Jack, you brought up it was kind of like Andor season 2 when they're on I can't think of the planet now, but at the wedding. stuff.
Yes.
Similar
Yeah.
to that. So
yeah, it's
Chandrilla. Chandrilla. That's it.
It is a confusing one. This one of my least favorite ones, if I'm honest, but very
Visually,
anime with the character designs.
really kind of heavy on the anime
Yeah,
styles.
long hair.
Especially one of the things I really enjoyed is the Zero particularly looks so beautiful. Something I love about anime and I've always loved is it kind of bends the gender binary. That was like a pretty feminine hairstyle and style of dress, yet that's clearly and like obviously a male character.
Yeah.
It's a really common trope in anime for men to have the most majestic and ridiculous hair that you've ever seen in your life. Like I'm talking like fringes out here, flowing locks.
Probably why I don't
So
like
yeah,
anime.
both of you are showing this off beautifully right now.
Because
Thank
I'm
you
the
guys. Thank
opposite of
you.
anime males. I'm
Jim
probably
is the
jealous.
polar opposite.
Yeah.
I'm almost a little frustrated. Like there are some great voice actors in this for the English cast. We've got Karen Fukuhara, who most of you will probably know as Kimiko from The Boys. We've got Mark Strong, who's a really well-known
Yeah.
British actor, really
Love
distinct,
Mark
like
Strong.
iconic voice. If you guys have watched The Kingsman, you'll most likely know him from that. Um, they even reference like current canon, like and what of Master Yoda? He was small and strong. Is this like one of the first Visions episode in this series that we've had where they've directly mentioned the current Star Wars canon? But there was just something about it that didn't quite click for me. I think maybe because I was missing some of the context of the stuff from Volume 1. It went by pretty quickly, finished up pretty quickly. Love the yellow lightsaber representation. I'll never get tired of that. Loved the way the Star Destroyer looked when it appeared. That was beautifully detailed and terrifying for no particular reason.
One of those, that in that home ship, it took me out of it. It was like that weird CGI versus the animation for
Yeah.
me, and I maybe I just don't get it why they feel like they need to flip, but like that ship that like the good guys ship it looked like more something out of Dune for me, really.
Good shout.
And it just didn't work with the animation for me. Like this one is way down on my list, which is a bummer. But I mean, you got to rank them. This one, I just genuinely, I just didn't enjoy it. Like I will go back and watch The Village Bride, and maybe that changes my attitude. So I will give it that opportunity, because if it's building on something, then that's not fair not to know that information, I guess.
And also, because we've had 2 Kinema Citrus episodes back to back, it feels like we're getting, I think this is like 5 episodes now in a row that have all had really similar animation styles with maybe just kind of only a few sort of subtle differences. This one, like Jack said, felt the most anime out of them, but still, I think visually by this point I was getting a little bit worn out, and that's not a criticism of the animation studios by any stretch of the imagination, just lots of different stories, lots of different characters, but visually I feel like I'm looking at the same thing.
Yeah, I think you need to take your time with these. Like, I know, like, we're
Yeah.
crunched for time trying to get these things out, but like, I think that for me, I watch them in 3 blocks. I watch 3, then 3, then 3.
Smart.
I think that's
But
probably the better way.
I still think it may have been too much with this grouping for me. Like, I just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of bummed out that I'm kind of bummed out that I felt this way about episodes of Visions, because even the ones that didn't sing to me in the first 2 seasons, I didn't feel like this about them, I guess.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So it felt like 20 minutes. Does that make sense? Like it didn't keep me clipping along. So
it was just dragged out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But like we said at the start, go and watch the seasons, Visions 1 and 2 before you watch 3.
100%. 100%.
Absolutely. Canon compliance. I do actually think this one fits pretty well into pre-existing Star Wars. I feel like this one didn't stray too far into the world of the kind of extreme and weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of had because you kind of had the blight from the High Republic happening on that planet, and then you had a Jedi and their master, and good guys, bad guys. So yeah, it was fine as far as that's concerned.
Full feature, yay or nay?
Nah, not for me.
No.
No,
not for me.
No.
Fair enough. I am going to smuggle us on to episode 7.
She's learning.
Whoa.
This episode was called The Smuggler. The animation studio is Trigger. This was directed by Masahiko Otsuka. Also watched this one in English, and this episode was roughly about 17 minutes long. Desperate for a payday, a smuggler takes a job to rescue a fugitive from the Empire. This was a super duper simple kind of ABC story,
Yeah.
which I am not mad at because it meant I got a little bit more time to kind of focus on the animation. That's something I really, really loved about this one. It was
Yeah.
really clean, really, really sharp,
Yeah.
hyper detailed. The main female character was also super cute. I loved her hair. I loved the way she was dressed. I liked that they kept the cast of characters pretty small as well. Like it was just the three of them.
Oh my gosh.
I totally agree with what you're saying there. The animation in this massively carried it. The storyline was okay again, but
Yeah.
the animation in this was incredible. The character designs looked fantastic. There's colours, there's vibrancy, there's loads of action. Again, the frame rates aren't that bad, so like you can see what's going on. Yeah, I absolutely love this one. Another strong episode for me. Just too short, in my opinion.
Fair. I think that may have been. See, strangely enough, this is at the bottom of my list of episodes, and it's not that I didn't like it or I was bored. I just felt it was kind of it was the
Yeah,
lightest, like the softest one out of all of them for me. Like it lacked some of that kind of heavy hitting, some of that drama. Like it was such a simple story. I do wonder if when you look at the episodes as a whole, it feels like they've gone kind of adult Star Wars fan, younger Star Wars fan, adult Star Wars fan, younger Star Wars fan, and it feels like this one is that kind of that break before the last couple of episodes are much more much more kind of grown up and adult, and it feels like this one you could absolutely show to like kids and to younger Star Wars fans and they'd really enjoy it. Easy to follow. This was like post prequels era, which I always think is nice. This one again felt super close to that Star Wars canon, super close to that line. I think I said in my notes that so many of these episodes are directly connected to Star Wars canon. And I think it's such a nice touch considering how much divergence there was in volumes 1 and 2.
It was like that it kind of reminded me of the Bad Batch episode when they go back to get
Yeah.
that commander. Like I was just kind of waiting for, to hear tick, hunter, in the background somewhere. Where's the Bad Batch at to come help this? And it was kind of Solo vibes for me. Like, she kind of like the
Yeah.
Han Solo. I got to ask a question. This might be my ignorance or not, but like, if you the prince, right? I mean, he was a prince. He looked
Yeah.
super neutral. Like you couldn't tell. Like if you look at these photos, I was just like, and it kind of, I don't know if that threw me off or not. Like I don't care less. It just was weird to me that it just didn't. I don't know. It just was kind of threw me off for some reason, and I don't know why. I mean, you sit there and you see them side by side, and it's like, well, who's who kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it's not like it's not in a bad way or anything like that. It just kind of was like, and again, a lot of this is probably my ignorance with not being an anime fan.
No.
And maybe being jealous of that flowing hair.
Maybe jealous of the
And
hair again.
Grandma Jedi freaked me out, man.
No, she was so cool. She was like Marva. She also reminded me of the grandma from Howl's Moving Castle. That's what I liked about this episode. It was very Studio Ghibli. That's what I liked about the animation. That's what I was connecting it to. She reminds me of the grandma from Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, can see that.
Also, I think the disguising of the prince was also meant to mirror the way that the Jedi hid themselves to the point of like obscurity. It wasn't just a case of going underground, it was becoming completely unnoticeable, passing under the nose of anybody who could remotely mistake you for what you once were. That was super interesting. And yeah, the old lady reminded me of Marva. I was expecting like a fight the Empire at one point, it just had that kind of energy. And also something else about this episode, the previous episode, and the dual payback actually. There is a lot of disability representation in these episodes, a lot of like a cyborg, a lot of prosthetic use, a lot of amputations and amputees. But shown in really kind of disability positive lights. Like, here is my missing arm. Yes, I'm going to turn it into a massive spinning lightsaber. Here is my missing leg. This is my kicking leg for fighting. Interesting, especially as they're all treated as completely normal and completely acceptable. They're not treated as different, less than, weaker. As somebody whose mum is an amputee, it's really nice to see like positive representation in that way, even if it is like drifting into the fantastical.
One of my favorite things about Chicago's celebration back in the day, they were showing us stuff from Solo and some of the stuff they were making. Was it from Solo? Maybe it was K2SO. The hands that Alan Tudyk uses, they're taking that technology and they're using it for people that actually have amputations and things like that. So Star Wars kind of has a home for this. They're using this technology after they build it for these droids, and they're using it and helping people in the real world. So that's pretty terrific. Like that's amazing that they're doing stuff like that for them. And maybe like you're probably more sensitive to it, obviously, Charlie. But I did notice that one kind of it's kind of stood out for me because of the way she had her lightsaber hidden. I thought, whoa, like that was crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. I thought this was I thought this one was fine. This was good.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Animation was a little weird for me, but that's just again, that's probably just by being a novice in anime, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
So kind of reminded me of like Final Fantasy or something like the early
Fair.
Final Fantasy games and stuff like that. Just with
Canon compliance. I see. I feel like yes, because they directly kind of mention post prequels, so I feel like again it's another one that just slots right in there.
for me, it felt like Solo or the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
It felt like a Star Wars movie. So,
Pardon
Jack,
me.
you don't think so, Jack? You didn't work for you?
Nah, yeah, yes and no. I see where you're going with it, but yeah, no, for me, not quite for me.
Fair. Full feature, yay or nay?
Nah.
I'm in the middle.
Guys, we're getting into the good ones now. We're getting into my faves. So, episode 8, The Bird of Paradise. This is my number one episode. I was absolutely in love with this. The animation studio is Polygon Pictures, who are the people behind Star Wars Resistance. So it's really, really nice to see some Star Wars alumni kind of back at and doing it. This one was directed by Taddy Yoshihira. I also watched this one in English, and this episode was about 18 minutes long. After she is blinded in battle, a hot-headed Jedi Padawan must undergo a series of spiritual trials in order to overcome the temptation of the dark side. This was like a full-on 3D animation, an absolute visual feast. This felt like a cutscene from a video game. As soon as this started, I was full screen, eyes glued,
Oh,
absolutely
man.
obsessed.
The opening fight scene with her flip and Charlie, when you put the notes down, like what's like the biggest like visual, that was incredible to me. And they got two of them.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, I cannot wait to
Yeah,
watch
this
this
is
on
standout.
TV. Like, this felt to me like this is the first time since Luke Skywalker we got to see someone going through some trials.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like she's going through her Jedi trials in front of us, and because it takes place over 6-7 days.
Yeah.
And I loved the little like every time there was a day, there was like a little theme. I thought that was so like just felt so Japanese to me, and so like driving the story forward. But yeah, this is probably for me the most visually just outstanding.
Yeah.
And it ranks really high for me. I like the story. I like it kind of had that vibe of like Yoda versus Dark Yoda in the Wheels stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one was really, really good. Really enjoyed it visually. Just I didn't know they could do this. I know you said they make Resistance, but this seemed way better than Resistance animation personally. And that's not to knock Resistance, but this was gorgeous. Everything about it was insane to me.
Yeah.
All of my notes are just, oh my God, wow. Oh my God, this is beautiful. Oh my God, this is incredible.
I like how it's all structured as well. Everything flows so nicely into each and everything. Like you said there with the themes and everything as well. It's perfect. This is my favorite episode, bar ones that have, apart from ones that are sequels. If that makes sense. Like for something brand new, this is number one for me.
I think this one, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, jumping the gun a little bit, but this one would have benefited from being longer so we could struggle
Yes.
with her more. Because like those days went quick, and I
Yes.
understand completely why
Emotional.
they did it. But like if you did a 45-minute of this and you drug it out a little bit,
Yeah.
and she's suffering a little bit more, she's
Yeah.
suffering a little bit more. And then so whenever she has her come around moment, it's like bam for me. But I did enjoy this one. I thought it worked. I just think this one could have been longer, and I think it would have been even more impactful.
Yeah. I'd definitely have a feature out of this one.
100%. 100%. I would happily watch 45 minutes of this. I've I have written down in my notes, she's like Daredevil. She uses the rain to see. Amazing. It was
Trippy frog.
every scene, every cut, every camera angle, every introduction of a new aspect of the story, it just kept getting visually more and more beautiful. Every time I think it had reached like the peak of how gorgeous it was as an episode, a
Yeah.
new scene would start, a new kind of chapter in the book of the story would start, and it would be like the dragons at the end, the way that the droid and the master and just oh my goodness, this is what I wanted to see when Luke goes into the cave on Dagobah. None of this swampy murky business. Give me this beautiful intricate interpretation of the Force, like so beautiful. And yeah, it did feel a little bit like a therapy session that I didn't necessarily agree to, but I think we all need to just hear about how to let go of our own fear and not get in our own way. And some gorgeous quotes out of this one as well. As you travel the path of knowledge, your connection to the Force grows stronger.
This was a Jedi trials for the first time, I think. You
Yeah.
hear about them, and bam. Other than the High Republic stuff that we got, with a couple of the droids and like Tales of Light and Life, or I think it was in. This was like, this is what I imagined like their trials and stuff. This is kind of Kanan and Ezra going through the temple and stuff like that. So I really loved this episode.
Yeah, this is a doozy, and I think it leads into the next point as well. Plot choice we're going on about is canon. This fit perfect.
Yeah, ding ding ding, 10 out of 10, right in there. Jimmy, you forgot about Rey's mirror trials in the cave in The Last Jedi. You can't forget about Rey's trials.
It wasn't like nothing happened though. You know
Look
what I
at
mean?
her. I love her.
Yeah, sorry, I totally froze, Charlie. You're gonna have to, when you edit this, you're gonna have to add some stuff. I just totally blanked on showing some of this beautiful artwork that they've given us. And I don't. Oh, sorry, I don't even think this does it justice. Really, like I think there were better scenes. I'm kind of surprised they picked these to give us, but yeah, I mean the texture on that and stuff like that is really great. So
if BB-8 and R2D2 had a baby, that'd be that droid.
Yeah. I loved the Sith in this episode as well. I couldn't work out if she was like a Zabrak. Like I know I saw like one horn, but I couldn't see the other horn. I loved her robes. I've never wanted to cosplay a Sith before. You guys know that I am like 100% pure light side girly. I sort of want to cosplay this. This is so cool. Like so beautiful.
It's a good one. You and Sid could do this. Like that would be a good play off of each other to do these two characters. I think that would be. It would be an amazing cosplay duo. You're welcome. I want credits when you
Gonna pitch that to her when I'm done with this. I will credit you to inspiration at Jimmy.
Be like, thank you, Jimmy.
No, this was absolutely gorgeous. Obviously, we've said we'd 100% do this as a full feature. This was like my number one episode, top of my list. This absolutely blew my mind. I'm almost glad that this was left till the end. I feel like this was the treat that I was working towards. This is delicious. This is dessert.
They should have ended on this one, personally.
Don't. So this final episode 9, has been nothing short of controversial in this group of podcast hosts, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 9. This is titled Black. The animation studio is David Production. This was directed by Shinya Ohira. I watched this in English. There's only one way to watch this episode, and that is in English, as there is no actual speaking other than I'd say about maybe 2 words.
Yeah.
And this is only 12 minutes. But this is the most insane 12 minutes of Star Wars I think one could ever sit through. This is a psychedelic battle between past and present. Light and dark and life and death plays out in the haunted psyche of an Imperial trooper who is on the cusp of defeat.
It's a psychedelic battle if you're watching it. I had no Scooby-Doo what was going on. I couldn't work out like half the visual stuff. It was just colour and random music coming at me with the occasional groan and moan. And I was literally like, what is going on here? And I literally had to keep pinching myself thinking, am I dreaming? I've drank water. I'm not drunk. What is going on?
Yeah, I am in the same boat as Jack. I do think this is probably the most complicated one to do the art for, because it would just like something would happen. It was like a whole, I mean, it's changing and it's nonstop. Like it never stops moving. My brain, like I felt like I was like, you know, I was born in the 70s, but I feel like someone from the 70s probably could have appreciated this a little bit more, if you know what I mean. I mean, this is psychedelic as it gets for Star Wars. I honestly have no clue what was happening. I don't even see, like, I know I got the green versus the red kind of like saber colors of the, but I mean, then there's a music that's playing like some smooth jazz at one point.
Do you know who I thought composed the music, Jimmy? And you'll back me up on this. Johnny Tobin.
Oh yeah, that's kind of his jam. It was, yeah. But yeah, it just, the music was weird to me. This one just did not work, but I want to make sure people understand something. This did not work for me at all, but wow, like to make this,
yeah,
I have no idea. I am captivated. I would love a behind the scenes how we did this on this one specifically, because maybe one, I'd understand what the heck was going on, and then two, just like it changes so drastically so often. Like I'm like, that would be terrible as an artist to have to keep just, I mean, I don't know how this works at all. I don't understand it, how they create it. But it blew my mind in that aspect, because I mean, it just felt like as soon as I thought I knew what was happening, it would go in a different direction. And so, yeah, this one was, I mean, it made my brain, I mean, my brain hurts right now thinking about it. And I'm sure this will be like, Charlie, you love this one, right?
Yeah. This was 100% right up my street. I am just going to make a very, very gentle disclaimer, though. Any fans who have photosensitive epilepsy, you are going to want to give this episode a miss. I'm just going to say that now. There is a lot of strobing and there is a lot of flashing. It is really, really intense, and it is continuous as well. This isn't just a couple of sections.
I'm so surprised before it. I was seriously like, there should be something before this. 100% at the nail on the head there.
There most likely will be, but personally, as somebody who's had like friends with epilepsy in the past, I would be careful with this one. However, this was an absolute feast. How do I even start to explain this to the two of you? So, general theory is that when you die, and when you're about to die, when you're on the very cusp of death, your brain releases a chemical called DMT, which floods your synapses in your brain with everything, every emotion, every experience, every memory, and your life literally does kind of flash before your eyes, for what we can understand about the process of sort of death and dying. And I feel like this was a 12-minute interpretation of that, but from the perspective of a stormtrooper. It was him dealing with himself. It was good memories, bad memories, all of the good things he'd done, the purity in his life, the difficulty and the sadness and the destruction in his life, all rolled into one. There were so many elements of this kind of unsettling body horror that I love from anime. It's one of my favorite things about the medium. Shows like Tokyo Ghoul lean really heavily into that aesthetic, but this felt more than that. This was Paprika, the 2006 film by Satoshi Kon. This was Ghost in the Shell, Wicked City, Magnetic Rose. These really really twisted, surrealist, high abstract, kind of medium push to the extreme, but then to add Star Wars into that as well made it kind of even more twisted. When I say I want Star Wars pushed past the boundary, this is the weirdness that I mean. You've got these periods of silence into this unsettlingly kind of jaunty jazz music. It made me feel sick, and I loved it.
You're going down a path I can't follow, Chuck.
Exactly, I was thinking the same thing. I just got this picture of Charlie going, and me and Jimmy in a boat with one oar going round and round and round. Me and Jimmy look at each other. Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Yeah.
I was going to mock you for your how you run it back, Charlie, but now you've said that, it actually does make sense to me that he was dying and that was his life flashing before his eyes. So fair play.
And also like heavy elements of like trauma, and also obviously both of you have been in the military, both of you have experienced some probably quite difficult and horrible things. A lot of that was like war flashback and post-traumatic stress disorder represented in that. Really, that's what all the heavy breathing was about. All of this panic and all of this horror and all of this stress, and the eyes, the constant motif of the eyes was beautiful to me. It's the like the dissonance of the music against the visuals. It was really jarring, but also really kind of artistic and beautiful. Green, red, good, evil. It so simple, but so disgustingly visually complex. I could sit through a full feature of this. I could sit through 45 minutes of that hellscape. I don't know if you two could. I feel like we're very opposite ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah, I don't. And again, hats off to the studio. Like this is nuts.
Yeah. I think this must have been hand drawn.
I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me. I don't. I mean, I knew like he was about to die and blah blah blah. You know, I mean, I got that, but
yeah.
I was like, whoa. I just hope that when I go, because I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't want that to be my last memory.
Yeah.
So, but again, hats off to the studio. Unbelievable.
And still, I feel like I'm still in a bit of shock, to be honest. Like, for people listening, when this episode comes out, we're recording this on the same day that I finished watching these episodes. So I've already just finished watching this before I sat down to came and record this, and I'm still like,
yeah. But I wouldn't watch a feature-length film in terms of canon. Probably already is canon. To be fair.
I would argue a lot of that is already canon and is probably very accurate to the experience that Stormtroopers. I never thought I'd end up experiencing sympathy for a Stormtrooper, but this is excluding Finn. Obviously, love you, Finn. This is one of the first times where I think this is maybe one of the themes of the season is kind of the flipping of the narrative of what we expect. That the Jedi maybe aren't the good guys and the Stormtroopers maybe aren't quite the bad guys that we think they are. There's a lot of this kind of back and forth. I know, shock horror. There's a lot of this kind of flipping of things on their heads, and I found it really fascinating. But what a way to end. Like, we've just had, like, for context, we've just had 6 episodes of some of the most visually traditional anime I think you could offer up on a platter for Star Wars fans. Like, really clean, really classic, really traditional, connected to some of the biggest, like, animes that people know and are familiar with. And then there's this that looks like something you'd see at, like, the Guggenheim in, like, a dark corner somewhere.
Charlie, you can edit this out, but I mean, is this what an acid trip looks like?
I asked her the same thing. I messaged her and said the same thing.
Both of you asked me the same thing. Yes, I would imagine.
You get all those psychedelic ideas from the 70s.
Yeah, it was very, very psychedelic.
They've never done anything like that, but I feel like this is what those people in the 70s, when they were experimenting with stuff, this is what they saw.
Yeah, massively.
So,
yeah,
I'd be curious the writer or the director of this, like what their age is. Like if they're an older Star Wars fan or something like that. I don't know if we can find that information, but it'd be curious to me to see if this was someone young or if this was someone like my age or older. Because if it was someone my age or older, it would make more sense to me, I think.
He is 58 years old.
Score.
So old enough, maybe. I mean, it would have been in his mind. He's only a couple years older than me. So he would have been, early 70s. So he would have been, but yeah.
He's worked on Spirited Away, which is a Studio Ghibli classic. He was also one of the first animators to join the production of The Boy and the Heron, which is an absolutely beautiful piece. His style has been described as like expressionist and free of logic and restriction. So I feel like
I would agree with that.
Applies.
Free of logic.
Cool. Any final thoughts? If we're going to wrap up the whole season, what's our like final thoughts of the season? Go on, Charlie.
Not what I was expecting, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm disappointed. I
Nice.
genuinely don't say that as like a criticism in the slightest.
Nice. No, nice. Jimmy?
Yeah, I think the same thing. Like, I ranked this season lower than the other two.
Yeah.
I'm still blown away by what these people can do with computers, hand drawing. Like, it is an art form. I don't understand it. It's beautiful. Even, even psychedelic stuff, it blows me away if I didn't enjoy it or understand it. But yeah, the season's really good. For me, like the weakest, but I still think, even as not an anime person, I enjoy this break from reality.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the Ninth Jedi's spinoff there in a few months.
Yeah, same. Big takeaway for me. Really enjoyed it. I think you don't have to love anime to watch this either, like Jimmy said there. And make sure you watch Star Wars Visions Volume 1 before you watch 3. It will enhance your viewing. No end. A massive thank you again to everybody at Lucasfilm for this. We are so grateful and appreciate this opportunity. Please keep sending us more. We're more than happy to keep diving into it. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed it that are watching this. Let us know in the comments any of your favorite standout moments, episodes, all that good jazz. Let us know. We'll get them read out on next week's episode. Next week's episode. Anything else from anyone else?
Just again, like you said, how unbelievably grateful we are for this opportunity and this experience. This is like a huge step for us as a show, and it's so special to be included in this and get the opportunity to watch these early. Absolutely delightful. And for me, like I feel like I've been shouting about how good Visions is to people since the first volume came out, and it's so nice to be a part of this and be like, yes, watch it, it's brilliant, go watch it, it's amazing.
Yeah, for me, Jack and myself and Taylor, this was our first episode, Vision Season 2, and
it was.
we're here, and I wish she could be part of this. Obviously, with her schedule, she's so busy now, but it's kind of like, it's been 2.5 years, and now we're getting, just, again, super thankful to the powers that be for including us in the screeners and everything they've done for us. And I hope we can continue that relationship. But people should also understand, like, we're not being paid to. I think you could tell from what we said, like, we didn't love it all.
Yeah.
But it's still worth a watch. And a big thank you to Disney, Lucasfilm.
Awesome. Happy days. Right, Jimmy, take us out, brother.
All right. Well, you've been listening or watching Explore the Force, the ETF Extra Vision Season 3 recap. I am still going to be trying to figure out the episode Black by the time you watch this. And I'm sure by the time I still won't know what's going on. But for all of us, we have spoken. We'll see you guys next time.